believe in
Think
magic.
positive. Think positive.
Don't believe in magic?
Alrighty, here we go.
All right, well, it looks like the countdown has begun, and both players prepping themselves for the final matchup. The map once again, Cloud Kingdom. Players are now loading up, and the players are ready. All right, at the top right-hand position, I'm gonna ask the crowd one more time, make some noise for IdrA. And in the bottom left-hand position, it is Jjakji.
All right, now we're back on Cloud Kingdom. Interesting choice here.
Yeah, you know what? I like the map pick here. I think this is a map where obviously Terrans can control the high ground very easily with siege tanks, making it a difficult time for Zerg. But there's a lot of expansions at the same time too. So IdrA can take control of that and try to out-macro his opponent. We'll just see what happens.
Yeah, very true. You do have the corner expansions that are quite disconnected from everything else. Very sneaky expansions to take. A lot of Zerg players will take one, if not both of those towards the late game. We do have Jjakji dropping his depot at the front, so he will opt to wall off. And, you know, usually that would go without saying. You know, everybody walls off. But lately, and especially throughout this tournament, we've seen a lot of players who aren't walling off. They choose to do it later. They're building their barracks and their supply depot near their command center and then opting to wall off later on, which is kind of an interesting approach.
Speaking of recent trends as well, I've noticed something, and IdrA has not, Jjakji has not followed this trend at all that I've seen so far, but if you guys remember Marine King versus Don Regu, a lot of Terrans are starting to take tanks out of their playstyle and just go with pretty much raw, badass Marines. We haven't seen that so far in this tournament, but keep your eyes open for something like that.
A lot of Terrans taking tanks out of their play, also known as Marine King taking tanks out of his play, because he's like the only player that can really get away with that, because his biomicro is insane.
Jjakji's biomicro, that's what I was getting at. Jjakji is also really well known for superb biocontrol.
Oh yeah, and he showcased that in the game on Tal'Darim Altar. I mean, that many Marines in the deep red and managing to keep them all alive, I mean, that was just phenomenal. Now we do have IdrA going ahead with that 15 hatch. Pool is also on the way here. Still no gas.
Oh, it gets taken out. So IdrA will not be able to get that drone back home, but that's okay. He gets a scout, and sometimes that drone is going to die anyways.
Now, are we going to see the double gas follow-up here from Jjakji? He still hasn't dropped a gas yet, which is quite interesting, actually.
And will we see maybe him going for that second and third barracks before the factory finishes? That would be pretty interesting as well. There, you guys can see IdrA intently focused on this matchup. You know what? I don't think IdrA is going to try to throw in any kind of cheese or anything like that. I think he's just going to stick with his guns. He probably watched the replay from the last match and realized, you know what? I know what happened. I know why I lost. It was a combination of factors, the map, the build order that Jjakji opened up with. This time, I know what I'm doing. It's further distance, and he can go ahead and play his game, and he knows exactly what Jjakji's ace card really was.
Jjakji getting a bunker up at the front here at the natural, just going to be secure to those lings. There's the double gas follow-up from Jjakji, and I think we're going to see a similar build. Depends on where he goes, though, because last time we saw him add those 2 Raxes very early on. You know, this time maybe he might diverge the build, and there we have some Marines picking off a single Zergling at the Xel'Naga Tower. Jjakji just trying to retake control of the map here, and he will actually press on to the second Xel'Naga Tower here, forcing IdrA to concede map control.
Yeah, the Xel'Naga Towers here on this map are actually really important, as they are in most maps, but I think even so more on this one because it gives you high ground and low ground control, especially for tanks. Keep your eyes out for that. This Overlord makes its way over to the cliff. Thought for a second it might be in trouble, but the Overlord will be safe. And now the Zergling's going to try to get us around these Marines, but incredible, impeccable control. Once again, look at that. He pulls the Marines that are weakened away. He's not even going to lose a single Marine.
Very well done by Jjakji right there. IdrA trying to take those Marines out, but ultimately they all end up, or 2 of them end up with 5 hit points, 1 with 15. So only a few Zerglings lost for IdrA, though, no big deal. Just now starting to get that creep spread going. I like the fact that he has this 3rd queen ready and waiting. He can start to just continually spread the creep, and it looks like IdrA's gearing up to take a very early 3rd here. Still no gas.
Look at that pain user. Jjakji just threw a 3rd command center, but not inside his base. He threw it at the mineral fields outside outside of his base. So.
Yeah, both players actually just being quite cavalier with their expansions right now.
I am a little surprised because usually most Terran players will opt to place it inside the main, lift it off, and land it later on. So this is a little risky, I think. It could pay off for Jjakji. He's going to roast up a couple more Zerglings, and if you're going to expand boldly like this, it's very important to make sure you do have that map control that is so necessary. Also note 2 engineering base coming up, so Jjakji will be powering his upgrades.
I really, really like this build from Jjakji, though. What he's doing right now, he added a tech lab immediately on his factory here, and we're going to have to see where he goes with that. Is he going to get tanks? I believe so. Getting Blue Flame Hellions at this point could be... I don't think it would work out too well. He does have the double engineering bay going as well, so he's going to get those +1/+1 upgrades. Meanwhile, IdrA, on the other hand, about to get that third up, does have the creep tumor spreading right now. Great creep spread from IdrA. He's really on top of it this game.
Yeah. This game, unlike the last one, I think, obviously a combination of factors on this map. I think it can be easier to creep down. On top of that, there's no sweet spot you have to worry about. And it looks like IdrA doing a pretty good job thus far, but I really want to call attention once again to Jjakji's pretty bold expansion.
Oh, absolutely.
He's going to have great economy. I don't even know if IdrA realizes that command center is there. Otherwise, being IdrA, he probably would grab another hatchery right about now.
Yeah, but what I was going to mention about Jjakji's build, he did drop that bold third, but he contoured his build to almost make it safe in a way because he's getting these very early siege tanks. Now, what he can do here is position his siege tanks in between his third and his natural and almost cover both spots. It's just a very small distance between the two bases, and he can cover it probably with a few siege tanks. And here you see Jjakji positioning his forces just as such, right in the middle there. And IdrA really didn't find a way to punish this third expansion at all.
No, I don't even know if he knows about it. That's the thing. He never really was able to get a scout out. Finally, now, if he can get rid of these Hellions, that's going to be his first opportunity to go ahead and maybe see the third. These Hellions are actually leading the way, almost, leading cookie crumb trails over to that third command center, and they will not actually. I don't think those Zerglings got up the ramp, and I don't think IdrA saw it.
Yeah, so IdrA just... little bit of lack of scouting there, really just did not know about the third, and I mean, didn't even know about it in its conception, its building phase, it's an orbital now. I mean, he just found out about it, and it's too little too late. That third base is already reaping its rewards here, and Jjakji is getting a very solid foothold. He's got the double upgrades going. Here comes the armory. 2-2 is going to start very early on. IdrA just now finishing 1-1, but IdrA, on the other hand, getting his infestation pit, also researching burrow here. Maybe going to get a macro hatch pretty soon. There it is.
IdrA really is kind of following this strategy that we saw him in the first game. He went for the mass upgrades, double Evo chambers, getting a tons of Zerglings and Infestors out, and eventually making that switch into the Ultralisk, of course, to share upgrades with Zerglings. I like that style. I think it is in a way superior to the Mutal Zergling Baneling style, dependent on the map, of course, but right now IdrA looking like he's really powering everything through. He's even going to have burrow upgrade as well, which is going to allow him to attack and hide things inside the base. He can even pop ambushes off as the Terran army is moving across the map. And right now, for sure, IdrA's got to assume, or at least realize, yes, the third command center is up. Those Hellions ran there. There were units there. And IdrA is grabbing, by the way, guys, a base to the top left-hand corner. So it is looking to be pretty much a full-on late-game macro ZVT.
Absolutely, and I love what IdrA's doing here, positioning his Zerglings for the potential flank or for the potential run-by. Is he going to go for the run-by? IdrA's not even aware of Jjakji
that he's got, and it looks like the Terran army beginning to siege up, and IdrA could be in some trouble here. Of course, this is very bold from Jjakji. He's all the way extended on the creep, and look at this, a run-by from IdrA.
Yeah, beautiful run-by from IdrA, but look at the building positioning from Jjakji. Going to be able to clean up all of those Zerglings. Going to get the third as well.
Oh, wow.
IdrA unable to make anything happen here. He just had to let the third go.
Nice
he didn't have enough. Beautiful fungal growth. Now he's going to have to clean up these tanks. The tanks are unsieging. They're going to try and run home.
If all those
IdrA's
tanks go down, that's a big W for IdrA. He's going to be able to clean up. Oh, no, he won't get those 2 tanks, but he will get the other 2. So about, half of them go down right there. Not bad. But IdrA did lose that hatchery.
He did lose that hatchery. So we're 3 base to 3 base. Keep in mind, harvester counts equal 67 to 67. Then you've got to factor in the 3 orbital commands on top of that. So Jjakji is in a fantastic position right now. He just launched a very exacting strike where he took out the third. He managed to
only lose 2 tanks for the third.
Yeah, lost a few tanks. Well, I think he lost 4 or 5, but it's okay. It doesn't matter. He did so much damage there. IdrA now in a situation where it's all about how does he defend this next push. The next push coming from Jjakji is going to be fierce. He's going to have a larger army supply, and IdrA's going to be very hard-pressed to stop it.
Well, we'll see what happens now. Jjakji moving out with some of his Marines, but that's not that fearsome push that you were referring to. Jjakji also sending a medevac down below the natural, but there's a Spore Crawler there, and that will be able to deflect it. So a good hold by IdrA, and right now, I do like what he's doing. He's controlling the high ground with his Infestors and his Zerglings. Also has Xel'Naga Tower control. That's absolutely important. That's going to be able to stop the Terran army when it's moving out. Good fungal growth as well.
Nice fungal growth right there.
He will clean up that attack. And by the way, guys, that creep spread is phenomenal.
Oh, wow. There we go. Medevac finally gets cleaned up right there.
I thought that was going to go down. I was like, if I get out.
Indeed, that was a nail biter. The pilot of that Medevac probably thought he was going to get away, only to get spored to death.
Double Spire coming down from IdrA, so he really wants to get that upgrade for flyer attacks and flyer weapons on the way. And also has his hive done as we have the adrenal glands crack upgrade starting right now.
Oh, here we go. And I love the burrowed Zerglings from IdrA.
Nice.
Just for sight. He knows exactly where Jjakji's moving his army because of those burrowed Zerglings that he had everywhere. We have a couple fungal growths going down right there. I don't know how cost-effective those were, though.
You know, I think this is a bit of a precarious spot for IdrA. While he does have phenomenal creep spread, he doesn't have any Ultras out. He doesn't have any Banelings right now. He's relying purely on Zergling Infestor, and he's dealing with a very large army, in fact, nearly max of tanks, Marines, and even Marauders ready to combat the Ultras should they come. So IdrA is at a tech disadvantage, but he's going to come in. Will he win the positional war? He comes with the flank. He gets the tank on the left. He's launching a couple of good fungal growths, but he's running out of Zerglings here, and even though he got some great fungals, it looks like Jjakji will hold.
Yeah, I mean, what I mentioned before about that push that was going to come from Jjakji, his army supply before that fight was over 60 above, and really it's just such a difficult position for IdrA right now. He just lost his third once again. He does have that expansion in the top left-hand corner. He is going to maybe clean up these tanks here. It looks like he just might have enough Zerglings to clean it up. There's also a drop going on in the back of IdrA's main. That's going to do quite a bit of damage because he doesn't have any Zerglings really left to deal with that.
Yeah, he's just so hard-pressed right now to survive. That's his main role right now, is just survive. And can IdrA do it? He was able to destroy the units inside his main, but there's still troops moving all across the creep. Jjakji not even bothering. Oh, there we go. I was going to say he's not even bothering to kill off tumors, but he's dropping some comsats now. He's going to start to recede that creep down. Of course, IdrA still has a base mining at the top left-hand corner. He's not out of the game yet. He's just got to stay alive, re-macro, and Jjakji does not know about that base up there.
Jjakji also does not know about the fact that IdrA has quite a few Ultralisks out on the field. We have 6 Ultras out on the field right now, but he lost all of those Infestors in the previous battle.
Yeah.
If only he was able to maintain, keep some of those Infestors alive.
Here comes IdrA going to the top left. It looks like the base has been revealed. The gig is up. Jjakji coming in here now, and IdrA absolutely has to hold this off. He's hesitating a little bit, trying to decide how he's going to go in. He doesn't have Infestors, as you mentioned. That's a detriment because he can't fungal. Those Marauders and Marines are in a fantastic spot. They can continue to kite and run back. In fact, doesn't matter. IdrA's just going to leave. That's over. Wow.